Okay, I am Michael, and this is my start playing attempt at GMing. Okay, I want to be a paid professional game master, and I want to go over with my potential players some of my table expectations as a professional game master. So, if you were to um, click on my link to my profile here, you can learn about me. I have another video where I just recorded information about that. And there is also a Google Doc I want to share with my potential players. So I'll walk you through an audio tour of my expectations and what can you expect from my table. A lot of it is just policy stuff, things you might want to know before joining a campaign that maybe you just can't get a full description on from uh, the Start Playing profile that has a limited character count or is meant to just pull you into the campaign and not necessarily tell you fully what the GM is totally like. So I just want to share with you some of my expectations. This is what I've been working on the last couple days here. This is the July 26th version of it. Okay, so these are one GM's personal expectations for his table and have no official sanction or endorsement by Start Playing. If they're useful to you, borrow them. Sure. So my table policies are, well, the golden rule. It's about fun and respect. Be the player you'd want to play with or GM for. Requirements: you must have a working computer, internet connection, a microphone or headset, a Discord login, and the program. Start playing login and payment prior to playing. These are non-negotiable. Dice. Dice are rolled in the open by a dice bot. There's no fudging or cheating. Make use of meta currencies like luck when available. If the dice bot quits working, we will temporarily use real dice. And yes, this has happened to me at the table before, and we have had to use real dice, but it's just temporary. Raw. I tend to run things rules as written. We are initially sticking with rules as written with a fiction first priority. If we implement any house rules, we will have a campaign document listing them. Theater of the Mind. We will do Theater of the Mind, no miniature, tokens, or gridded battle maps. I will occasionally upload a map, handout, or sketch. I am uninterested in tactical play. Combat is fun when it is wild, fast paced, and has stakes. Grinds and slogs are not enjoyable. Be descriptive and cinematic. Use your words. The platform will be conducted through voice chat and dice bot over my Discord server. This one right here, the thing on the doorstep. And relevant files may be stored there or in a shared Google Drive folder for the campaign, like this one right here. I currently have no plans to use a virtual tabletop. Video chat is voluntary. No PvP. Unless otherwise mentioned, the assumption is the player group is united, and PvP, player versus player, is currently not allowed. That would only ever change with universal player agreement over the development of a campaign. No spectators. Your friend may not tag along and or interject. Our private sessions will not be recorded and or made public. You do not have consent from the GM or players. Small talk. This is for before the game, maybe the first 5 or 10 minutes, then any time after the post-session debrief. Limit AI. Keep AI use to a bare minimum, preferably none at all. Open door policy. Feel free to contact me. I'll likely get back to you within 40 hours, often much faster. Exiting. Life's too short to be bored or to hang around with folks you don't vibe with. This applies to the GM and all players, saying, "Hey, thanks for the game, and I don't think this is the right fit for you or me, but I appreciate you," is enough to part ways on a positive note. That's nicer than ghosting or blocking. Character sheets. Upload or share your character sheet to the GM and other players. We will probably do that in the Google Drive. A shared digital version as a document, spreadsheet, or fillable PDF that is regularly updated would be best. A scanned picture of a paper copy of the character sheet, your current character sheet of your character. Let me reread that. I might have to adjust that a little. A scanned picture of a paper copy of the character sheet. Yep. Fixing a typo. Good thing I'm reading this out loud. This isn't embarrassing or anything. A scanned picture of a paper copy of the current character sheet is acceptable. Of your. Not sharing your character sheet is unacceptable. All right, character audit. Expect a character sheet audit. Accidents happen, especially when new players and new systems, with new players, new systems. But if it looks like you are purposefully cheating on your experience, advancement, your gear, your abilities, etc., it will be brought up before the table publicly and in the open immediately, and then you will be removed from the game. Repeated accidental cheating will be understood as purposeful cheating, and you will be removed. Yes, I've had to do this to a table before with a player. This is why I'm putting this out there right now, because I don't want you at my table. And I don't want this unnecessary conflict that you're going to bring and the bad vibe you're going to bring. Please stay away. Breaks. There will likely be a 5 to 10 minute bio break sometime mid session. Any player can request it. Safety tools. Let me be honest, frank with you. In my personal in person game in real life, I've never used safety tools. We've always kind of incorporated a session zero or breaks, if that's what you mean. And we have like gone out of our way to just like talk about things that upset us or made us uncomfortable. If that's what you mean by safety tools, then I'm on 100% on board for safety tools. But if you mean other things, well, I'll be honest. I'm new to them, and I understand they might have their uses at a public table when you're not among your friends and family. And I especially recognize their need for certain um, extreme horror games like Cult or Vampire. Okay, so I am open to using them if necessary. If there are immediate issues, let's talk about this actually. Usually smash session 0 and session 1 together. We'll discuss the nature of the one shot or campaign and get on the same page with expectations. Saying, bump the brakes, hold up, let's talk about this. All those are signals we need to talk things out immediately and directly. If there are immediate issues, players are encouraged to use the stoplight system and or XNO cards. You can verbally state this, send a message in the chat, or message an emoji or picture in the chat. We will pick which system we want to use at the table. I always end the session with a short debrief. I never knew this was called Stars and Wishes, but it's just saying what you liked and what you want more of, or what you want to do next. That's, it's just putting a name on something we've always done. So please stick around 5 to 15 minutes after the session for this. Sometimes it will be within the scheduled time frame. Other times it will be tacked on to that 3-hour minimum. I like horror, dark fantasy, and edgy settings. Elements of violence, supernatural horror, moral ambiguity, occasional absurdity, and dark themes will be regular elements of my campaigns. If rated R movies and TVMA shows make you uncomfortable, this is not likely the right GM campaign for you. It's your responsibility to yourself to avoid harmful content and find a more suitable group. Session length. The listed 3-hour session is the minimum. We'll often start wrapping up then, but a 4-hour session or the rare 5-hour session we all agree to stick around for has happened. We get started after a few minutes of small talk. After that, we will likely go to the end of the 3 hours and sometimes overtime. There are times we will stop early for the sake of saving a combat, new setting, intricate scene, or just a better vibe or energy for the next session. But these time differences usually balance out with us playing more than the 3-hour minimum during other sessions. Be flexible. Adapt to the table's desires and the adventure as needed. There should be something for everybody, if not every session. Combat is fun, and so is roleplay. Recognize that you may sometimes have to adjust what my character would do to fit what the GM prepped and what the other players want out of the game, too, because otherwise there won't be a game. Published adventures. This is what the majority of what I run, and I always advertise that if I'm running a published game, that's what I'm doing. A published adventure, that's what I'm doing. When playing published adventures or settings and sandboxes, go with the flow. Recognize that it's an amusement park, not a railroad, and find the fun that's obviously available right in front of you. Though we often go wildly off script with modules. See the next point. Um, it's expected that you have not read, played, or ran the adventure you're playing. Please don't spoil adventures for yourself and others. I run published adventures faithfully to authorial intent, only modifying missing parts, things I know I can improve on, or what I know my players and I will hate or be bored with. Homebrew and improv. When playing heavily improv games, sandboxes, and soap operas of my own creation, oftentimes in collaboration with the players, be more proactive. Select goals, interact with factions, and seek out your fun. These two are not necessarily mutually exclusive, guys, but that's what we're shooting for. Is usually one will lean more towards the other. Be cool. Some crassness, vulgarity, absurdity is fun. Keyword is some. Do not bring the vibe of human resources, political correctness, church, or work to the session. But when a comfort level is crossed, speak up. We can work it out, agree to disagree, or part ways with no hard feelings. No ERP. Absolutely no erotic roleplay. At most, we will describe before and after with intimations and fading to black. Please do not solicit ERP from the GM or other players. An occasional off-color joke is good, but don't go full quagmire. Giggity. No NSFW content. Do not post or send not safe for work content, links, images, memes, videos, GIFs, etc. to the Discord, Game Master, or other players. Min-maxing. It just isn't fun. I get power fantasy being attractive, but if you prioritize stats and winning an uncompetitive game over roleplay, background, goals, and the collective story, you're missing the point and are definitely at the wrong table. Player roles. Players may earn additional XP and or metacurrency for fulfilling player roles such as note taker, recapper, quartermaster, the person in charge of treasury or inventory, mapper, bard, like this storyteller. You might come up with a journal or a song or something to share about the character's exploits, that kind of thing. We'll work that out in game. Online game issues. It's an audio-based online game. Expect mic checks, interrupting other players, awkward silences and pauses, brownouts, blackouts during storms and summer AC drains, technical difficulties, and the lack of body language and facial cues. Be patient with the drawbacks of online play. Scheduling. Unless I'm sick or there's an emergency, I will stick to my commitments and run what I agreed to when I said I would. If I know I can't do a planned date in advance, I will communicate that with the group ahead of time. I expect the same courtesy from my players. Holidays and vacations do require flexibility in skipping sessions. Attendance. The other players are expecting you to be there, and so is the GM. But everyone gets sick and has emergencies come up, including the GM. If you can't make it, let us know as soon as possible. If we're down one player, we'll play without you. If we're down two or more, we'll likely reschedule. If you are regularly absent or miss 3 sessions in a row, you might need some time to handle the emergency or flakiness. That would be grounds for booting you from the campaign. If you want to be there, be there. If you don't or can't, don't. No hard feelings. Rescheduling. If the GM can't make it or multiple players can't, we can reschedule or play 2 sessions in a week or two, if and when that's possible. Sometimes we'll have to miss, especially during holidays, vacations, or busy work seasons. Tardiness. We start playing after 5 to 10 minutes of small talk with or without you. Someone can recap for you. If you know ahead of time, let us know. If it's avoidable, don't let it be a habit because the other players may want to wait for you. Missing player. In your absence, your character will become an NPC. The other players and I will do our best to support the party and do what we think you would do. There's an unspecified gentleman's agreement that your character won't die and that the other players will not be allowed to abuse that feature. If you didn't like what we did, sorry. Player numbers. My sweet spot is 3 to 5 players. I will GM for 2 players if we either work out a higher session rate or play with the understanding that we're expecting more players to join in time. I will only ever run for 6 players if I get universal agreement from all players that they are willing to lose some time in the spotlight and in GM interaction. I will not run for more than 6 players. Wrong venue. My gaming table is solely for entertainment, education, and fun interactions. This table is not the place for discussions on real-world politics, religion, ideology, current events, gossip, and controversy. There are a million other outlets on and offline for such debates. We're here for entertainment. Play with people from all walks of life without putting them through purity tests. I can play with everyone, and not everyone will become my friend, and that's okay. Character death. If it's a funnel or campaign with an expected high casualty rate, life is cheap, and on to the next. If it is the unexpected loss of a beloved character, we'll mourn right there with you and try to give you a hero's ending. If your character dies, you have 4 options. Leave early, ugh. Spectate, okay. Pick up an available NPC, okay, again, if they're available, or choose to create a new PC. We will work you back into the session as soon as it is fictionally feasible, even if we have to bend verisimilitude to make it happen. Player expectations. So those are my table expectations. Now let me go over my player expectations. Games. It's a game. Have fun. There's a balance between seriousness and levity, but RPGs are a form of entertainment. Attitude. Do your best to put yourself in the right headspace to have a fun time. If it was a rough day, pause, breathe, smile, and tell yourself, I'm going to have a good time before the game starts, and it might just happen. Remember, the other players in GM want to have fun too, and are trying to do the same in good faith. Surly and passive aggressive players aren't a pleasure to interact with. Whether you call it your vibe, attitude, or spirit, make it a good one. And that I got from Seth Skorkowski, and boy, is it right. Please try this out. It will definitely improve your gaming experience. Respect. Respect the other players and what they want from the game. The GM will try to balance role playing, problem solving, exploration, and combat. Respect the GM's calls and rules interpretation. He's doing his best to facilitate the game, run the NPCs and world, run the adventure, juggle all of the players' needs and desires, handle pacing, manage interpersonal relationships and technology, etc. Respect the other player's time in the spotlight. Everyone wants a chance to roleplay and make a contribution. You're not the only player at the table. Be gracious to the other players and GM. They will make mistakes and not remember everything. Communication. If there's an issue to address, we can either pause the game or address it in the post-session debrief or during the week by messaging. Communication is key. Be proactive if there's an issue. I know conflict is unpleasant, but suffering in silence or quietly quitting on an otherwise good group sucks worse. Be present. Give the table your full attention as much as possible. Please play sober or limit yourself to a small amount of alcohol. We'd rather have your undivided attention. Maybe placing your phone on vibrate nearby but out of sight would help you and the group enjoy the game more. If you're going to be distracted, make sure it's something silent. Hearing your second screen content or podcast detracts from the gaming experience for everyone else. You will be called out on it. If you need to step away or be right back, just type BRB in the chat and back when you're done. Newbies. Whether you're new to tabletop role playing games, this specific system or setting, Discord, or online play, you're welcome at my table. You may benefit from learning about those topics on YouTube prior to play, but just come as you are and we'll get you up to speed. Veterans. Be kind and welcoming to the new players, whether they're new to the system, the setting, tabletop, online play, Discord, whatever. You were a newbie too once. Veterans, after the third session of the game, you really should know how the basic mechanics and your commonly used character abilities and gear work. If you don't, it's time to do some homework. Read the relevant sections of the rules or watch some YouTube videos about it. If you don't have the required rulebook, ask the GM. He'll either provide a PDF or screenshots of your specific powers and abilities. Review that stuff before session or during session lulls. If that's all too much for you, don't play a rules-heavy character like a spellcaster. Maybe a rules-light game is more your style. It is your responsibility to familiarize yourself and be able to refer to the specific rules pertaining to your single character. The GM is responsible for the rules regarding the adventure, world, and NPCs, but you are responsible for your PC. What to know about your GM. GM priorities. Fiction first. Trumps rules as written. Trumps rule of cool. The rules and dice are meant to aid the unpredictability of the game, which makes things exciting. Embrace the dice as an additional oracular player. If what we're rolling for doesn't matter, why roll? If we roll and ignore the results, why roll? Expertise. I've learned the rules. I know the core rules and how combat works. I know some of the common subsystems. I've run the system before. I have a good memory and GM instincts to make quick rulings. I can walk you through character creation and some development. But I will never remember all of the individual powers, spells, feats, abilities, exceptions, and complex or infrequently used subsystems for the dozens of games I own and run. Get over that. Rules impasse. If there's a question about a rule, the GM may look it up or make a quick decision to keep things rolling. In the session debrief and or during the week, we can discuss rule disagreements, not in session. GM is final authority. At times, for the sake of the fiction, keeping the campaign intact, or abridging a session that's running too long, the GM will overrule the rules and just narrate. He likely will invite you to participate in that narration of what happens. Player entitlement. The GM is a paid professional, not a genie or punching bag. I will definitely factor in your wishes, but not at the expense of other players or what we agreed on for the campaign's expectations. Payment doesn't entitle abusing the GM or other players. Campaign length. We agree to play session by session with the hope of a continuing campaign, but just like free campaigns, they sometimes fizzle out. Nobody agreed on forever. Intentional, planned, short campaigns with designated endings have a great sense of completion. Fun side gig. This is a fun side gig, and I have zero problem with booting a bad player to save the campaign as a whole. I've done it before with reluctance, but then the game radically improved afterwards, making me wish I had done it sooner. If the fun side gig ever stops being fun, we will part ways. I am not pursuing this as full-time employment. I will be professional, but I will be laid back and not sweat upsetting the wrong player for my table. Irritating players. If you're wearing me or the other players out, I'll let you know. If it continues, we'll part ways. Don't be that guy taking up 80% of the spotlight time and constantly arguing with the GM. The party is an ensemble cast, not the support to your Mary Sue of a protagonist. Don't min-max constantly or cheat. Players, if someone is bothering you, speak up in session or privately. Sometimes GMs desire affirmations or consensus on their own assessments before they act unilaterally. No PvP. I don't do play by post. I find it slow, boring, and annoying. In my free time between sessions, I'm prepping systems, settings, and scenarios. That's more than enough for me and all I have time for. If you want to do light systemless RP between sessions with the other players, you can use the server or your own messaging if the other players choose to interact with you. I will not moderate or GM play by post. Funny money. Yes, payment changes the psychology of the social contract, but this is still about fun. Monty Hall campaigns are boring. Fudging dice, too much XP or advancement, PCs that never have to worry about permanent death, etc., detract from the game. Money doesn't change that. Money doesn't grant entitlement. Do not bribe the GM. I will refuse it, tell the table, and tell start playing. TPKs. The threat of a total party kill is always on the table. The risk makes it exciting, and it actually can be a great experience. The protagonists don't always win, and that fits several games' themes and tone. How we pivot from there is a case by case situation. Rates. I'm starting at $20 per player per 3-hour session. If the campaign gains traction and continues past the initial adventure or adventures, and the market will bear it, I will increase my rate to 25. If I become oh so popular and in demand, of course I will raise my rates further, wouldn't you? Playing policies. No split tables. The only players allowed at the table are paying customers. 2. No disintermediation. There are no special deals and arrangements outside of the framework provided by SPG. I only run my online games through SPG, and I currently do not offer my professional game mastering services outside of that context. No solicitation. No search manipulation. I will not manipulate the search engine and algorithm by running multiple sessions at the same exact time or constantly postponing sessions to pump up player numbers. Full disclosure, yes, I am aware that I could pocket the 15% cut that SPG takes and be paid under the table. I'm still not interested in being solicited for games outside the SPG environment. I like their marketing, protections, player base, user interface, and not having to sweat a tax audit. All right, again, I am Michael. This is my profile at StartPlaying.Games. If you want to join up on a game I'm running, and just give me a contact. The link should be in the description of this video. I will get back to you as soon as I can. I'm looking forward to running a game for you. And if you're another professional GM out there and you have some feedback on my policies, or hey, you want a copy of that document, well, I'll send it over. That's fine, man. So take care. All right.